Hey everybody out there. So, I'm back at it. Got an engine overheat issue and taking this motor apart. First things first, this thing was getting to 446 degrees and that's not good. This thing could really blow a piston. So, I've decided to fix a little leak that I found underneath the crankcase. I found it like a year back before I was even flying when I bought this new. I was told to just JB weld it and try to fix it that way. It was like a patch, but obviously that doesn't work. Take a look right here. So far, I decided to make an instructional video how to replace the crankcase seal, disassemble the entire motor on the R125 Blackhawk engine. It's actually an HE R125. So yeah, here I am again, taking this thing back apart. The first thing I did so far, I got the propeller off. That's great. Then I took the airbox off. Step 2. Next thing I'm going to start doing is taking off the pieces that connect to the carb. I don't really want to take the carb off all the way, so really all I've got to do is take these two bolts out here, and after I get these off, just take the gas off, take this exhaust, or this tube off right here. It connects to the back. This piece here that holds the throttle and stuff will just kind of move off with that, with these bolts. So I'll be able to like leave that kind of set off to the side, hopefully. And so here we go, back at it. Okay, well I decided to get the muffler out of the way first. It's good to grab onto that piece there, a little rubber mount that it screws into. And then you screw that puppy off. What have I got here? This is a 13 millimeter socket right here. So I gripped onto it with pliers. Now it's already loose, so I'm not gripping it. I figured I'd show you guys every step of the way. Next will be these bolts. Alright, so the muffler's off. Like I said, just that nut comes off there. And then these two screws come out here. So I put the screws back in so I don't misplace them. Probably a good idea. Okay, next. Now I'm gonna do this carb. Let's get this stuff off. First would be these two screws in here, under where the airbox goes. Disconnect the gas. Probably disconnect whatever you want down here, whatever, and then these 4 screws here goes nothing. Alright, so that holds this whole part onto that rectangle part behind it. Alright, got those bolts out. That's what it looks like behind it. It's a gasket. Make sure that doesn't look like it's leaking anywhere. Looks pretty good on this side of it. I did notice a little leak between here and here. Let me point at that. Right, yeah. Anyways, set this down. It's just dangling. Right here, I did notice a little leak. I tightened everything up already, but now I'm going to be taking it back apart. So, now I get the carb off and disconnect this here. And as soon as I get that off, I think I'm just going to leave the carb there hanging. I will be taking that apart while everything's open and cleaning out the screen. In the back here, there's a screen. I'm going to spray it all out with carb cleaner. Get everything cleared out, make sure everything's set up right in there. We'll get to that towards the end of the video. But for now, we are working on the gear case. Or crankcase, whatever. I need 2 hands to pull that off. Alright, so I just zip tied that over to the frame for now. Get to that later before I put it back together. Also, I wanted to show that this is part of a re-gasket kit that I got for this motor. And before I even started flying, I did that. Make sure everything would, you know, keep working. And if you notice, there are some screw holes here that don't look quite right, do they? Let me show you what that is. Alright, right inside there, you can see the gasket on the other side. It's blocking it up, so that's okay. We're pulling these 4 bolts off. I just noticed there's some fresh fuel right there on this one. That is still oily red, still very fresh. And that tells me that there is a leak going on right around this gasket, or it was just loose. So, like I said, I did just tighten that up after I found that leak before, and it seemed to be better. Didn't leak out around underneath. I mean, since then. So, clean that up and keep an eye on that. I wanted to show you guys how this awesome ratcheting screwdriver works that I've got. So, it's hard to do with one hand, but when I turn this way, it'll unscrew. Let's see if I can hold the camera with my mouth and just show you. No. Epic. Totally just bit my phone to show you guys that. Close out. Here we go. Let's see what's going on behind that. Alright. Gasket looks great still. Glad I replaced that thing. Doesn't look like it's leaking on the gasket, but there's definitely some oil or gas that was leaking, and it might actually looks like it was coming from around outside the gasket. I don't know. It's off. Carbs off and flappers off. Check inside there. It actually looks pretty decent in there. Let's touch it. Poke. Yeah. It looks really clean. That's great. What I'm trying to get to is replacing the seal. It goes right here around the whole cast part because it leaks. I'll show ya. That's where I did my JB Weld job. Got some bad advice to do that. Wish I did not do that, because that does not work. Obviously, look at all that crud. Wipe it up. Look at satisfying wiping it. Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so clean down there from now on. Oh yeah, you like that? Oh yeah. Alright, on to the next step. I gotta get this gasket off. Hopefully I don't have to replace it. Like I said, it's fairly new. I didn't even try to get it off yet. Let's try. Yeah, it's stuck pretty good. So, I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Get a razor blade up here and see if I can get it up. We'll see. It's kind of tricky to do repairs while I'm holding the camera, but the flashlight helps. Makes me a little nervous. Usually you only have to use a razor when I'm replacing one. Ooh, I think it might have to be a replacement if this doesn't come off good. Okay, let's see. Okay, yep, it ripped. So, the color parts guy, get that on order. Hopefully it gets here quickly. Alright, so I cleaned that up pretty well with the razor blade. Feels super smooth. You can still see like a stain from it. I'm gonna probably go over it with alcohol or something. We'll just wipe off any grime. Make sure that's super clean after we get it back together. So this is gonna be a long video. Let me tell you guys that right now. I got a lot to go. Since I've got the carb out of the way now, I am going to take the cylinder head off, which first take. So I'll be taking this screw out, the screw. I think I'll just leave this in. No, I need to take that out too because I'll be using dial gauge to check top head center anyways. Oh, what's that? So we got something going on there. Looks like my spark plug might have been leaking. Let's see if I can get the flashlight to go where the camera's looking. I don't know what that is. There's been a leak going on there. I'll take this cap off. Let's take a look. Alright, so that's an 11mm socket. Take them top things off. Okay. Pull that off. And see what we got. Oh, that's broken too. I want to probably replace this soon. I just keep throwing it back on here and seeing. It seems fine. This hood is just keeps the airflow from the built-in fan flowing over those fins really good. The fan's right down there behind it. Okay, so we got these off. I glued this once with some plastic glue stuff. I don't know what's up with that stuff. I used it on top too. Didn't hold down very well. It's not falling out though anymore. But it's loose. Ugh. I'll try that plastic glue again. This is carbon fiber or fiberglass. I think it's fiberglass cover. Okay, so right under that, we got some washers. And then we got these spacers. Just these two that hold the hood on. Set these here. So then right under that, we got some 4-cylinder head bolts. When you put these back on, the torque is supposed to be 89 inch-pounds. Blackhawk recommended in a video that should be 125. So I do 125. Hopefully that doesn't hurt anything in the future. Here we go. Take those off real quick. 14mm right there. That one felt super loose. I don't even know why it would be so loose. Oh my gosh. So this one also super loose. What's going on here? I did not even do anything with those yet. This one's tight. Let's see. This one is super loose too. So yeah. I think that might be part of my air leak issue, obviously. Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll make sure to tighten them down again later. Okay, get those head bolts off, or nuts I mean. They look like this. Keep everything really organized. I recommend you do it too if you're going to do this repair. And it's kind of obvious once you do it a few times. But obviously, you know, it's better to have everything in order. So, let me get the spark plug out. Grab this thing. Probably should have done that before I loosened up my other head. But whatever. Okay. Oh, I have that on tight. Let's take a look at that color while we're in here. Supposed to check your color of your spark plug after you shut it off. I think right away. Let's take a look. Yep. So it was running a little hot last time. The color's not too off what it should be, but like the white spot inside there should be a bit darker brown. And it's running hot, so we got a little lighter. Yep. Let's see if we can look inside here. Alright. Little oil leak going on there. So it's probably not just an oil leak, that means that there's air getting in as well. I'm not sure if the seal is bad on this spark plug or if it's because this temperature sensor wire is making a bad seal. But that explains this right here. We've seen leaking out the front. It's quite a bit. So this thing should be running pretty damn good when I'm done. Definitely a lot of oil. Both sides. Okay, let's pop this head off. Let's see what it looks like in there. There's a couple more O-rings down there. Should pull them out too. I'll get them in a second. Let's see the piston head. Great. That's not bad at all. It's actually looking really good in there. I'm gonna check out that line there and see what that's about. But before I even flew this thing, I did a recarb kit. I put new rings on this piston and made sure all these new seals were placed in. Right here, this one looks a little dirty around there too. Makes you wonder if it even worked. But definitely having an issue with air. So let's take this to the bench. Alright, so this thing's looking good. I got no problem with what I'm seeing here. It's actually really clean in there still. There's some kind of leak going on. I don't know what that is. Melted rubber maybe? I'm gonna replace the seal anyway. See, like it kinda got, maybe it got too hot melted. Definitely some rubber coming off of that O-ring. So that'll get replaced. I wiped it down a little bit, but really no carbon buildup on there at all. So a little dirty on there. I'll get that cleaned out. Yep. Top of this looks like there's some melting going on as well. Let me zoom right in on it. Getting a little hot. I guess that O-ring couldn't cut it. But I don't think it was leaking air here. You see quite a bit more oil going on. Oh yeah, maybe it was right here. Okay. So, yeah, it was. Okay, pull this off. I'm gonna have to use both hands for that. Great, okay. I'm a little stuck on this side. I just got it broke free. And let's take a look inside. Looks so shiny. There's fresh gas from that last flight. What good memories that was. If you didn't check that out yet, that was the flight. I got to fly over the train for the first time. Let's see what we got going on. What is that? Let me know in the comments if that's supposed to be like that. I don't know. It don't look right to me. Where the hell? Here's the camera. Shit, I don't remember seeing it like that before. Okay, well, let's take this out. What do you guys think? How does that look to you? I think it's gonna make it. Something going on there. Let's check that out closer. And there's the piston. Let's take a real close look at that. It's definitely got some wear over here. The rings feel fine. I think that's from before I did this, put new rings in. I'm probably going to do those again. just because it's open. I have everything going on. Take a look at this backside. I can't really see from here. What's going on in there? It's got that same thing going up. I don't remember that. It might be normal. This is going to be a part 2 series. Let me know what you guys think about that. Is that normal or is it not? But it's like that on both sides, so I think it is normal. Just a way to grip it when you're replacing that. Take a look down in there. See that old sealant kind of seeping out on the inside. I guess that's really not an issue where it's at. This side too, a little bit. Alright, well, I've been working really hard on trying to get this gasket right here cleaned off really good. It's getting pretty there. I think we don't need to worry about these spots here. I think that's just paint. And the gasket didn't really sit on that spot. Here too. Here too. But now I gotta get around and work on this back area here. You can see it is still pretty corroded over back there. And I was most definitely having some air leaks right here as well. You can tell with all the oil that has been spilling out of that area. So that's gonna make it run. Alright, so here's the lower half of the piston cylinder head. I used this brand new razor and scraped up this side of it really good. Gasket really wasn't stuck to it, but I was just getting rid of erosion and got it real shiny. So that's good. And then on this side, it's pretty much done. I need to go through right here again a little more, but this is super important. You don't want any air leaking in, because you're going to make a real big issue. Alright, and I also noticed somebody tapped this and rethreaded that. So I don't know if that's been causing any issues. I'm going to check to see how tight this one is and also see if it's even level with this other one. It looks like it's not. I don't know. Let's check. Alright, so now that I got everything up to this point, cleaned up my gasket spots, I am going to start taking the motor right off the frame. I know that you can take it off right here, but I found another way to do it where you can take it off here and it will leave your pulley, your starter pulley on the frame, and it'll take the stuff that I need to work on off the frame. So I'll take this bolt off here. I'm going to pull this one off, and then I will show you from there. I'll be on this side. Take this bolt out here, unscrew this, and then take this piece off here. And once I get this off, it'll just come right off. And I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so that one's out enough. Can leave this part on for now. And then I got the shock mount for the exhaust off. And that part will slide right off in a second. When I get to the other side, here we go. Okay, so for this one, I don't know what my extension is offhand, but I'm just using this 1/4 inch socket. Oh, shit, opening wrench. I just stripped it. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try that again. We use this side, and maybe a better grip. Oh, apparently that doesn't fit. Oh, it does fit. Okay. Not getting much torque on there. So anyway, I want to show you guys this. When you turn this, the spacer behind it will start turning, because this bolt goes through here into that one, but it's threaded on this too. So what you got to do is, as you turn this out, you want to turn that down the threads. Do you see what I mean? Because this will turn with it, and you need that to go down this way a little, so that it won't bind up there and stop spinning. But generally, it won't bind up unless it's tight enough. So I'm just gonna get this part loose. Yeah, this has been broken. I can try to fix that again. JB Weld doesn't work, guys. I'm gonna take that to my welding guy. Alright, so before I take that off, let me get this bottom one down right here off. Same deal. This part threads straight through into that space behind it, but through this too. So, alright, so for this bottom one here, this is pretty much a nut, and you gotta make sure you grab these things right there, as close to this edge as you can. I already unscrewed it some, but I just want to tell you guys how that works, because if you don't get a grip on that, like the metal part there, it just kind of squishes and you can really tear these apart. Might be a good idea to replace those two. But this one, I don't know what's up with this one, because the way I got it looks like this. It goes behind here. I don't know for sure if that's the way it was supposed to be. I just kind of have it leaning on it, or if this broke off. Let me look. Yeah, I think this just kind of broke off, and it was never replaced. So I'm probably gonna order that piece too. I just always thought that was kind of weird. Huh. Yay. When you buy used stuff, you find surprises. It almost looks like they tried to glue it on, maybe. Yeah, that is the whole part of this. Alright, everybody. Found another part to replace. Yay. Cool, so I've got most of these off. This one's loose. This is off. The only thing holding this motor into this pulley system is this bolt here. So I'll show you what happens when you take that out. And I have to get my phone stand out here for a bunch of this stuff. But like I was saying, right behind it, that is threaded onto there too, kind of like the left side is. And once I pull this off, I'm gonna need to actually, hold on, make sure that's in there. I gotta cut the zip tie right here for my spark plug, and this cable here, which is just attached. That might be okay there. That's the cable that goes to kill the starter. That's right, so that's gotta come apart. And that sucks. Okay, I need two hands. Anyway, like I'm saying, this is the starter kill switch, or the coil's kill switch. It runs all the way to your throttle. I'm gonna have to disconnect that and my throttle cable, which I got running up here. Take that out with this piece, or I'm gonna have a cable ripped right out of my poor brand new starter coil. It's not a starter. I wish this thing had a starter. By electric starts, that would be amazing. Okay, so I just disconnected this RPM meter cable from the zip tie that was wrapped around right here on the spark plug. Now I'm going to cut the kill switch wire, and I'll just resolder that on later, because it's a quick and easy way to do it for now. Okay, never mind that. I'm not going to cut this cable. I pulled the heat shrink off, and I decided, I'm just going to desolder it. So it's going to be way too hard for me to try to show you guys how to do that while I'm doing it. But I'm just going to heat this back up while this thing's still warming up. And then after it's hot, I'll pull the wires apart. And I think that'll be better, because I don't want to lose any length in this wire. Ta-da! Alright, got my phone stand. Finally. So here we go. I'm going to pull this part off and show you guys what it looks like off of the engine. Where it doesn't belong. This thing belongs in the sky. Soon enough. Riding back, flying metal sky high. Well, that really broke this time. Oh, there. Ain't that right? Here we go. Something's still holding on. Oh, what's that? Oh, zip tie came off. Okay. Loose. Loosey goosey. Okay. Might want to get that welded. Well, the bottom is being pretty stuck. This top is already off. I'm forgetting something. Oh, I am. Duh. These gotta come off too. Forgot. Slowly gotta get those out. That's the little spacers that were right behind the first bolt. So these parts down here gotta come out slowly. Right there. I don't know if you can see it right now. Let's come off too. So let's hold this plate on right here. And if they're in the way, they ain't coming out. By the way, you're supposed to take these off the other way around. Take it off the frame first, and then apparently it would be easier. But I don't always do stuff the easy way. I like to do stuff different ways sometimes. And this way is different. And this one's heavy. But it's different. That's good. Oh shit. Okay. Grab that. Check, I got it. There's the motor. That's the thingy-mo-bobber. And all these other thingy-mo-bobbers. Let's fix it! Alright, so if you see my last video about putting the coil in, you've seen this side of the engine before, back here. I didn't take this off in that one obviously, but check this out. What I'm going to be doing here, this is the cooling fan system, and these are the parts that attach to the pull cord. So they get held like this, and then the pull cord pulls it and it turns, and that is a good thing because it starts the engine, and that makes beautiful rumbling noise of purring greatness, which leads to flying up in the sky. Anyway, so I totally put some Loctite on these when I did this, so these might be pretty tight. Let's dig in and see how this goes. I've got all kinds of goodies to work with. But like I said, I'm not going to show you every single step. I'll be taking this bolt off behind there. You use an open hand wrench. to take these two pieces off. Don't forget where everything goes. You got a little spring that comes over this way and a spring that goes this way. You want it to be able to wind up like that. So, I mean, last time I was in here, I made little marks that are still pretty much there. Yep. I'll do it again though. Use some razor. Got that one. That one. You can still see the little marks. And you know what else works great? Pencils. They're shiny. That's where the spring goes. Check. That's where that spring goes. And I have a video reference right there. See what I'm doing. Okay, so I'll take those off. And alright, so I wanted to show you guys real close what I was talking about. Right there. Grab on there with 13 and turn that puppy around. Tilt out. Well, that's the whole thing. But yeah, that's right behind there. So that way you don't have to take all these E-clips, C-clips, whatever I call them. And then just don't forget how it goes back on. Duh. 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 Pull it off. Ta-da! Alright. So mark a little X here. In there. So I remember how that went on originally. It only goes on one way. I mean, you could turn it 180. But I want it to be the same. Because that's the way they put it together. Check it out. Looks pretty balanced. Nice piece. Looking real nice. Okay. So, now I got that out of the way. Get this out of the way. That you can see what that is. It's just something to help the cooling fan push the air up through. Put that over there. Okay. Here is what they call a flywheel. I'm going to have to make a tool for this to push it off of this drive shaft deal. I also, while I'm in here, want to mention how it will be put back together. I was told there's two magnets here. Let's see them right there. 1, 2. You're going to want to line up this one on my right, dead center with that coil. Which, if you know what that means, you're doing really good. So that's when you put it back on. You want that dead center. And obviously it wants to like push it away because it's a jerk. Anyway, so dead center, that coil, mark it with my pencil. It's that little dot there, apparently. So, maybe that's there for a reason. Looks like there's a dot in this other magnet too. Yep. Anyway. So when this is top dead center, when I put this back on, you can press it so that that is lined up perfectly with this coil. Which I could use a flashlight to show you better. There it is. That's the middle, and that's the dang. So, apparently, this should be as high as it goes right now. It doesn't seem to go up, and coming down. That's right. So, that's good to know. Pulling it up right now, and it is lined up to there. It's actually a little bit past that. I don't know, that's just a pencil mark. Cool. So, I'm going to pull off this nut, and I'm probably going to replace that since it is plastic lock washer in it. And then take this off. I got to use a piece of metal. I actually have a piece of aluminum here that might work. Drill 2 holes through it. Take some bolts and screw them in here and here, or here and here, whatever bolts I can find. So line up the holes so they match. And then I will tighten the bolts into that so it pushes against this and pulls that off. And that's what my next step is right now. Like, maybe I'll time lapse it. Okay, never mind taking that off first. I'm taking this off first. This, and this, and this, and this. And then the clutch come off with that, and then that'll be out of my way. Okay, so I just took those out, and guess what? Some little piece fell off right here. That don't look good. Look at this. What the heck is that? Let me see. It fell off right over here. Yeah. What do I got going on here? Ta-da! There's a broken piece. I don't know if that's supposed to do that. It looks like a not very well designed part right there. So this is definitely part of the casing. The bolt that holds the two cases together is right in there. And it's very oily. I can't tell. The oil looks greasy even. Okay. Might have a compromise issue here. And I might need to replace the casing. Dang. But in the meantime, I mean, I got that thing off. Put it back there. It's just 4 bolts. None of those bolts are very tight either. There's some oil right here. I don't know where that came from. I'm guessing something else probably broke it. Okay, we can just keep on going. Might be able to get that welded. We'll find out. Okay, so I got this thing tipped on its side so we can take a look at what was really causing all this problem in the first place. Right down there is where the leak was. And, yeah. I put JB Weld on it before. The wrong advice from some people that thought they knew what they're talking about. Anyways, so I just got that, what I'm calling the coil bracket off. One of the bolts that were in here, right there, bam, was connected to this piece that was completely broke off. I don't know how long it's been broken. It looks like it probably broken one, maybe a crash landing from the past, or maybe, I don't know. But it fits like a snug little puzzle piece. One solid break. And I'm hoping I can get somebody to weld that for me. I know a guy. And hopefully that will also hold. I'm gonna have to clean it out real good. Don't know. What's this stuff made out of? Just looks like aluminum in there. It's not like, maybe like some kind of cast aluminum. I know a guy. Let's see if he can be the wizard for me. We need that wizard with his magical wand to save from devastation. Anyways, not too worried about that. I actually don't think it's causing a leak. It definitely needs to be attached right though. That will go back on. So, like I was saying, I'm going to drill 2 holes in here to match up with these 2 holes. Wait, one of these 2 sets, here and here, or here and here. It's probably going to wind up being the bolts that came out of it. Ooh, magnetic fun. So, what I'll do, hopefully if there's even space for all that, let's throw some spacers on here. But that will be screwed through there, and through a hole. Take that nut off, and then tighten these bolts until this flywheel gets pressed out. Then I will be able to move on to these next bolts that are going to come out, hold the casing together. Got 3 on this side and like 4 on this side, I think. No, just 3. Yep. No, there's the 4th one. It's hiding in there. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna hope that I can really get this sealed right the first try. So, oh my gosh, I'm almost halfway there. This is gonna be a really long video, and cross your fingers that this finishes right so I can go fly. Alright, so I thought I would show you guys this too. I got some M8 screws here that fit perfectly where these little doohickeys were at. Perfect. Anyways, I needed a way to hold this still while I turn this bolt. So I got my 17mm socket right on there, these things in here, and my flathead screwdriver pretty much screwed right to this thing. Because it's flat, it's a square design, this should work perfect. This is threaded on reverse threads, is what I was told. We're about to find out. Let's give it a go. It's stuck. I can't turn it. Trying to get out the big guns. I'm gonna grip right on here and try to get some leverage with it. That didn't work. I guess I'm gonna heat it up. Alright, I got this thing loose. Look at this. Got this against here. Got this thing in here. Butted up this flathead right there. It's jammed up. So I can get some pressure down here. I already loosened it, but I'm just showing you guys how to do it. And then you just need to put some kind of a cheater bar on there to help strengthen it out. I use this. Just kind of grab down right there, push down and tilt back, and it's already loose, like I said. Okay, so now the next step is to just unscrew this thing. You know what this is called? This thing's called a nut. Take this out of here now. Make sure you watch what this is doing. I probably could have waited to take that all off the top and until I got closer to what they're doing inside here. But yeah, let's see what happens when I take this off. Ready? Nothing happened. Cool. Alright, time to make that flywheel puller of victory. Begin. The first thing that I do is I line up these. Then I put a pencil mark on it. That's what do it. Right there. Right there. Good enough. Now, what you take is a square to line up with the pencil mark is. Do you see it? Right there. Line it up. Do it right first time. Don't mess up. Okay. I'll go this way. Okay. Pencil mark lined up. Not their line. Can't see anything in this light. Alright, so drew a line. Same thing this way. Just want to make this little doohickey. Alright, got the lines drawn. Gonna make 2 holes in there. Big enough to put these 8mm bolts through. And then that will be the best thing in the world with this. handy drill kit that you see in front of you. It's passed down generation to generation. And it still has all the bits. Isn't that cool? Great. None of these are big enough though. Don't! Poop! It's okay. Start small and make a pilot hole. I'll start really small since this is aluminum. And it should go right through there. And hopefully not bend when I start pulling on this. That would really not be good! Be good. Alright. What? What was that? Yeah, be good. Let's get the right drill. Okay, I got one here. Yeah, where this one's huge. This is too big. I know what. Look at this one. I don't even know what this is for metal. Looks like it. Looks really sharp. It's dull. Okay. Here we go. It's the drilling. Stuff is evil! Alright, the pilot holes are drilled. Here's the big bit time. Alright, so here's the part we've all been waiting for me to make. Oh, that goes good. Let's see if it all lines up good enough. Yep, they're gonna line up great. Good thing I can measure. I didn't really measure it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use this machine here. You might be familiar with it. It's called a electrical cordless drill. It's a powerful machine. Yes, it is. But I've got some bits for it. Wonderful little bits. Would you like to see that bit? Wait, what's wrong with the screen here? What's going on here? Hey! Huh? Low battery. Get that out of here. The bit. The driver. So, I'm gonna start small. I'm try to do this even. Both sides. Alright. Let's turn up the torque a little bit more each time. It only gets so tight. And I know it's even. What I am worried about now is these screws going through and hitting the casing, but hopefully it'll pop off before it touches. But I'm watching behind that. It's not close yet. Well, I mean, it's less than a quarter inch. I got a feeling I'm probably gonna bend this aluminum. I'm really hoping it doesn't bend. If you're watching this right now, in the future, cross your fingers that it doesn't bend. Alright, so Put a little pressure on there. I was told don't hit anything with a hammer. I'm not gonna. But I'm gonna be patient. I might even walk away and let this just kind of build a little tension up on it. This might even be better with bolts and steel. I mean, if I had steel, it'd be way better. But I don't want to drill through a piece of steel for half an hour. I had this aluminum. Because you know that torque's really not very strong. I'm all the way up to 10 now. And it's not budging. So, I'm going to wait and see what happens. Okay, no I'm not. I'm going to the drill mode. Let's get this puppy tight. Ow! Yeah, I forgot about that. It spins. And it's sharp, and it spins, and it hurts my thumb. Woo! That scared me. Alright, everybody. It's off. Wow. It scared me. Neat. It's like a cone, almost. You can see, well, there was a pin right here. It is not there. There's no pin. Oh, geez, I hope I'm not missing something. Nope. No pin. And, yeah. Take a look at that. So there's a place for a key, but they had no key. I think that's so that you can move it while you're tightening it down, because it's not supposed to be in one place. It worked. How much it started bending? Well, I can't really tell now. It was bending a little bit. So I had this screwdriver in here between that bolt and the main nut, or that bolt, drive shafts. I don't know. Anyway, so I was turning it and slowly turning it with the Allen wrench, not Allen wrench, with this bit, the number 3 Phillips that I had with this big screw Phillips bit. With this cool thing, it fits anything. You can put a bit in there. So I was slowly turning that with that, and then after I got it real tight, I started tapping right there real lightly with the end of my socket, my ratchet, and it just went pop! I wish I got a video of that because it was scary. Alright, now I'm on to this next area, which is going to be all these Allen bolts, and we're going to see what it looks like inside here. Alright, so, I don't know, let's try this out. Alright, cool. There it is. Looks like the exact same thing they used for the propeller bolt. It's the same size Allen wrench. It's a 5mm Allen. So over here, I set up a little, there it is, you can kind of see it. It's just a diagram of where each bolt goes, because I didn't know if any of them are different from each other or not. So, a little corrosion, and there's no oil in there. It's a good thing. At least I know that those spots were no, leaking in the seal, I guess. Okay, well. In case you're wondering, I'm using that Torx type setting, or whatever they call it, impact, to try not to strip or break the bolts. Just kind of loosen them up. This one's really stuck. So I'm actually going to leave that for now. I'll try these other ones. We'll come back to that one. Zero's dead already. Okay, looks like I'll be taking these out by hand. I just charged this. Oh my gosh, it's so dead. What the heck? I just charged it. Well, gonna need a new drill battery. I'm gonna do these by hand and come back with you guys. Alright, I got all the bolts out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now that that's out, I have no idea. I'm gonna call my guy, send him a message, but I think all I need to do is just pull this apart. Okay, so I got this on here, screwed in on each side, across here, pushing against that. I decided to get my torque bit, or my torque wrench out to see if I can get everything kind of even going down. And it's bending. Obviously, kind of really bums me out that it's bending. Hopefully it'll at least just hold up for this job. That's all I need it for. I haven't even got to 40 inch-pounds yet, and it's already bending. Well, I don't even want to get that tight. I just want it to release. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, guys. This side feels tight. This side is not. Being that it's bending, it's probably not putting enough pressure down. Well, I was really hoping this would do it. If I'm lucky, it still will. I don't know yet. It's definitely like coming out a couple millimeters. It's just that backside does not want to release. I've even tried to kind of put this in, pull it apart, and then squish it back together. Kind of make some sort of a leverage. Maybe if I keep tightening, I'll get to the point where it just kind of starts pulling down. Or maybe it'll just bend all the way down flat. I don't realize how much this goes back and forth. I don't even know how much actual tension is happening now. Fuck. Alright, it's starting to move. It's starting to come apart. I've been tightening down these things and just ignoring that it's bending it. And I have got this thing apart some. The most I've seen it yet. Got them tightened. And I've been grabbing on here. Picking it up some. And it just hurts every time I pick it up like that. And I've been hitting it. Look at that. It's the most I've got apart yet. Even loose. My drill battery died, or I'll just use the drill. Finally. Getting somewhere. There it is. They got to 40 inch-pounds finally. Let's go up to 50. Oh, that was 30. Here's 50. Alright, this is progress. And I think it's pretty much clear. You can see that pin that was giving me some issues before. A couple more taps, it should come right off. Oh yeah, by the way, underneath here, I got a piece of painter's tape, a roll of that. Just put that propeller, whatever thing, it sits right on there, perfect. Okay, so this is almost off. Great. Keep grabbing the wrong ratchet. It's really too bad that that piece of metal didn't hold up. Look at that. But it's still working. Like $4 for that piece of junk. Just to break it. Wow. There it is. This is progress. Finally. Oh, yeah! It's been holding me up for days. Oh. Hopefully it didn't bend anything too much. This nut got hit under there and it looks good. Wow, it's so shiny. Yes! Oh, success! Here's the insides. Get these things off here and get the clean this up. Get the gasket in there. Oh man, that was a pain. This was the biggest problem right there. It doesn't even look corroded. Maybe that wasn't the problem. It was probably just stuck on this bearing so good. Look at how that works. Beautiful thing. Alright, I'm gonna clean these up. Show you when I'm done. Alright everybody, so I failed to show you guys the last step I just did, but I'm going to show you guys real quick what's going on right now. I just cleaned and sealed that entire thing. Now I am going to tighten down these bolts that go around the crankcase. I'm going to go over that in a second a little more. For right now, I just figured I would show you guys what I'm doing, what steps I'm at. And we're going to go from there. Actually, alright everyone, so I just sealed up the crankcase and clamped it together. Now I am going to put these bolts in. Try to do it as evenly as possible. Using my torque wrench, I will be going up to 40 inch-pounds first on each side. Going in a crisscross pattern. Might be a little helpful to have an extra hand if you got someone to hold this thing steady while you're doing it. I don't right now. Alright, this feels like it's not even catching. That's bad. Alright, so you want to put these in a crisscross pattern. I put blue thread lock sealant onto these bolts. And now I'm going to bring them up to 40 inch-pounds first. And try to go in the same order that I put them in as I go around each time to put each bolt in. I'm using a drill to help speed things up a little. I should do this one first. go. Hello? Pepper? Hey, Pepper. Good boy. Okay, all at 40. I got this sealant is in here, no gap. Tighten them all down a little more to 60 inch-pounds. Okay. Here goes the white pepper. Did you want to go outside? Okay, hold on. Okay, some 60. Go to 80. Okay, double check 80. I'm gonna go up to 85 now. I'm gonna call 85 the number to stop at. Should be a tiny bit more. If it even moves. They're moving a little. Okay, it's done. Crankcase done. Zero out my nice torque wrench. It's always good. In case you're wondering, I use this really cool adapter tool for all kinds of things. Fits a 1/4 inch bits in there real good. I don't know if it throws the torque off. It could. It doesn't seem like it would though. It does everything really even. As far as I can tell. So, and that's how you get your crankcase sealed on. Everything else is going to be in reverse order. And I think that should be about a time lapse. This video's gone long enough. But in the meantime, thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe, give me a like. I don't just do repair videos. I like to do my flight videos too. Okay, I'm just gonna let this all dry and then pick off, scrape off in the morning. Alright, so I wanted to go over how I put this crank back on. After I did all the cleaning, I used a small brush that my wife's probably going to be mad at me about using, with Permatex, Motoseal, fuel resistant gasket maker. And it's got the little numbers 29132. So that's what you guys should use as well. What I did, I went up to the Home Depot, picked up some of these 3/4 washers. You only need 5. I had a 6-1 in case, but I found out I just need 5. You might actually need a 6-1 because what I did was I stacked these up. Well, first, I put the sealant on both sides. Waited about a minute, like it says, but really didn't wait. I just put the line this stuff up, started cranking down. It took about another minute to do it. But I put these on here. I oiled up that bearing first that slides onto this shaft. A little bit of the same oil I use in here to run it, the Dominator. So did that, seal both sides, make sure everything was super clean with isopropanol alcohol and smooth, clear from the gasket. I even took the paint off that was on it. After I put these on, I used this thing again. I just drilled a bigger hole to fit around this shaft. Pretty sure that was perfect size. Then I took the flywheel nut and the washer for it, and I kept cranking it down. And then once I got it so far, I would make sure to line up everything right with those two little metal liner up things. There's one here and here. Lined it up as I went, and then I went so far down that I had to stop, take this off, add another washer, and then do it again. And it seems like by the time I got to this plastic part on the nut, it would it'd get a little harder, and so that's when I was adding on the thing. Kept doing that until everything lined up real tight, and didn't do a video of that part because once I had that gasket and stuff on there, I was ready to go. I didn't want to wait for it to dry too long. But what I had to do was take that piston, and while I turn this to tighten that thing, I had to take the bottom part of this piston right here and kind of push it this way while I turn it this way so that would line up on the bottom part of that, or the top part of this crankcase, and just kind of keep it there while I was tightening to keep tension on there from the whole thing just keeps spinning. So I'll probably have to do something like that when I put this flywheel back on. Hopefully that doesn't hurt anything. It seems like it looks all good. Alright, I got gasket sealant spewing out all around this thing. I'm gonna wait a few minutes and double check that torque, I think, actually. I think you're supposed to wait about 10 minutes, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, it's coming out all the edges, so I guess that would mean it's sealed. It's coming out inside too, son. Don't know how great that is. I'm gonna wipe that off. Make it flat, at least. Cool. I don't want that to get in the way when I'm putting on the other flapper thing. Whatever you call these things, man. I don't know all these parts. I'll learn it all eventually. But I got the torque rating by going online, doing a little studying about different bolts have different torque ratings they can tighten up to. These can tighten up to about 97 when they're like a certain class bolt. So I went with the lower grade torque settings on it. And it doesn't have to be that tight anyway because this shaft itself on the bearing holds it down really tight, tighter than these are just there to help secure it. And yeah, I'll be putting the flywheel back on in a minute and keep going from there. Also got that one piece right here welded up. Let me grab my camera here. Thanks to Benchmark Welding in Duran. You guys do a good job for me. Nick over there is a metal wizard. Like you seen earlier in the video, that part was broke right off. He even spray painted it for me too. So I told him to throw some stuff on this side, leave this flat, put a little bit on this back side, and on the bottom too. Not only that, he fixed this part for me. Spray painted that as well. He did a nice job. Had him flatten it down a little bit so it would meet good. I don't know if I need to flatten it more yet, but I'm going to find out when I get back to that part of the assembly. Alright. Well, I got a lot more pieces to put back together, so let's get back to it. Alright. As you can see, the seal worked good. I got the coil bracket back on, motor mount bracket, whatever you want to call it, it's both. Tightened these down to 40, crisscrossed it, 40 inch-pounds. A little bit of blue Loctite on each of those as well. Then I tightened them up to 55, and then I went through and did 65 on those. Okay, got the flywheel back on. What you're going to want to do when you put this flywheel back on is you want to find top dead center with your piston. So what you do is, before you get this on, you need to get pretty close. I got the dial gauge right here connected on. It's kind of loose, but it works for what I need it. You can do this with the piston cylinder heads back on there, but I decided to do it now while I'm waiting for parts. So what you do, you pretty much just want to line up this magnet. There's two magnets. I marked this right here before I took it apart as well. But what you want it to do when you get this tightened down is have this magnet centered on your coil. Well, this is exactly the top dead center, so straight up as high as it goes. So what I did, right now it's not lined straight right now because everything's kind of wonky, but I was pretty much just watching it. Doesn't really matter where it is, as long as you see I turning it one way, it stops and starts to go back down. So you can set that to 0. That's how I had it set, but everything's moved since then. See, this thing's kind of rotates a lot, so I was holding that where it needed to be, and when I did that, it was at 0, top dead center, because that's where I zeroed out. You can turn this on the dial gauge, just set that to where you want it to be 0, and that just shows when it turns around. Piston goes up, piston goes down, up, back down. So yeah, you just watch that. Once you get to that point where you're right between the two, it's not going up or down with a little bit of wiggle, that's where this flywheel needs to line up centered with your coil sensor. So then what I did after that was lined up right, put these washers on there and hit it with a hammer a couple times just to kind of get it down flat, and then I turned this coil. Let me get this back on the stand. I can show you this better with two hands. Okay, so I took this tool actually, put it underneath the piston, like this. Don't know if you can see that. But then turned this coil, or the flywheel, until this cinched down on there. Kind of held it flat like this. I actually used the piston because before this was tight, that would have pushed it off center where it needed to be. Held this against here, got my bolt on there, the flywheel main nut and washer. Oh shit, I forgot my washer. Alright, well I'm gonna go back and put that in there. It's alright. Pain in the butt. Anyways, so Yeah, put this piece underneath the piston so it wouldn't keep turning. Cranked it down tight, and then I double checked to make sure it was in the right spot, which I'm gonna do again. And so here's how I actually would take it off as well. It's the same thing but backwards. Has the piston turned this way so that this tool is against that, so everything's flat and even. I'm really hoping that this doesn't change my setting because I just nailed it. Hold it steady. Got that puppy tight. Oh, it's real tight. Okay, if I'm lucky, that won't move. But like, I'll test it again, and then you guys can actually see how I do it. I noticed this washer. I don't know if I bent it. It's got a curve to it. I'm putting the curve so it's going upwards like this to kind of squish down against the middle once I get there. Okay. Put this nut on. We're gonna spin this with the piston like I was saying to hopefully not move that flywheel where it was supposed to be. The magnet kind of grabs it too. There you go, so that's on there. If you didn't put that tool in there or some kind of a spacer, you could have some issues with it just grinding up against the whole crankcase. Okay, that's pretty tight. Do one more little budge, make sure. Okay, cool. So, now that I got that on there, let's see if I can get another reading on here, if it's all looking okay. So, bring this a little closer. Go this way with it so you can see better what I'm doing. Okay. So, flywheel, it's marked right here in the center of that magnet. You can see the little dot too. I put a pencil line. Let's see what happens with that gauge. So right about there's where it needs to be, and it's still in the right spot. So I got lucky it didn't move. When you first take that off, it's kind of tough to get off there, but I mean, not super tough really. It pulls right out. You've seen how I did that earlier in the video. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure that's centered. You can see it go up and stop. It's not on the 0 anymore, but it doesn't really matter. It's gotta be in a little tiny wiggle space. It's really good. Okay, cool. It didn't move a lot. And that's how you put that on there. I have this little stand for this that grips on, so I can hook it up the way I did. It was a little big for that screw, so I used this wall drywall anchor. It worked out. Pretty good spacer. But yeah, these are great. My dad happened to have one. He's a machinist. This thing works really good. So that's how that's done. The next step is to start assembling the cooling system fan. I think, unless I'm skipping something, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's what's next. Get that back on there. Here goes all of that.
Oh,
I was born a dog. I associate as a dog, but to my mommy, I'm just the devil. Alright, well, so now that I got this part on, the flywheel, I made sure to check the gap on this coil, put some new thread lock in these, check the gap, set the gap to 0.813 millimeter. It's between the flywheel and the coil sensor. Put the thread lock, push it against this between the two, and then tighten these down. I also cleaned off the top gunk that was on this somewhat. Just kind of gave it a wipe down. And now I'll be putting this spacer, part of the air cooling system, and then putting this piece in, the cooling fan. So, I'll be hooking these up. I did these at about 75 inch-pounds tight. And I did this one, I just tightened it hard as I could. Since it's just one, it's not balanced. I'll be doing these at 80 inch-pounds, which is just these bolts. And then doing my best to just tighten these evenly on each side with thread locker on all four of those. Also, when you take this apart, put a pencil mark where this little thing goes. It's kind of obvious, it goes behind it, but I just do that stuff anyway. Alright, they're in there. 80 inch-pounds, and tightened with the 13 millimeter opening wrench. If you wanted to be really precise, probably should be, you can take these E-clips off, pull that up, put a socket on there, and put those down to 80 as well. I feel like they're pretty close to what it was. The next step to get this back into the engine, where I'm actually going to do the rest of the head on top of the engine because I'm waiting on those parts, but I can't get it in the engine for now while I wait for those. You need to get a piece of tape before you try to put this up there to hold these up. So what you're going to do is tape right here, run it up through here so it's coming out. I use two-side tape, but I just leave the one side covered still. That way, what I do is put it on there and then put it up through here, hang it out so you can reach it about maybe 3 inches on both of these. So they're both ready to open up. And what you're going to do, you're going to line up these bolts with these, obviously. They're going to go back on there. And then those things, little flat things, are going to be flipped open against this. So, when this is up like this, when the motor's spinning, these actually keep constantly just kind of going like this and staying in here, going this way. So motors will be able to catch on that when you pull this this starter. It'll pull the flywheel with those little things, and then when it starts running, they just keep flapping over it. Well, yeah, it does the thing. Anyway, that's the next step. I'm putting this thing back together, get it back in my motor finally. Alright, another repair just popped up. The bolt that holds the head on. I found this helicoil in here, and it just popped out some. I noticed it earlier, but I wanted to pull that out, take a look at it. We're going to fix that. And it should be flush. I got it taped off so stuff isn't dropping down under my head or my piston. But look at that. It's ridiculous. The kind of things that I got to deal with. Fixing things. Shouldn't have to do this. Actually, looks like when they put it in, it broke. It's kind of hard to tell, but it looks broke. The bottom piece of it is still down at the bottom. The bottom half of it. If I'm lucky, I can get that to go down in there, or I'm just going to cut it off the top here. I don't even want to mess up this. Do what I gotta do. 'Cause I can't have that. That is not right. Alright everyone, so I went and picked up this Helicoil kit for the expensive amount of $53.99. This part, you want to get the M7X1 version of it. Well, it's a rip-off. Stupid things. They know what they got. Taking over the market. There's a few other brands, so anyways, you can use any other brand, M7-1 for these head bolts. So I just taped up everything to make sure nothing's falling down under my head. Alright, so anyways, I just used the threader. They sold me this bit too, because when you originally, if you don't have, if you don't have a helicoil like I did already, the hole won't be drilled big enough. Mine was already drilled big enough, and I realized that this helicoil was threaded at the very bottom of this hole, and you can see the old threads in there in the lower half of that hole. So that's what it was screwed into, but I just rethreaded the whole thing, got threads. They're not deep ones up top, but they'll work. And I'm gonna get the helicoil all the way down to the bottom where it was. So that's my progress. Yay. Cost me $60 for the drill bit helicoil kit that I only need one of course. There's like 11 of them coils in it. Maybe in the future though I'll need it for some random thing. Hopefully not, because it's a pain. I don't know. If you guys want to buy it from me though, if you need to do this job, I'll mail it over to you, man. I'll give you a good deal on that. It's only got one used coil, so just write in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I've put many hours into taking extra time to do this video for you guys, and it's gonna be a lot of hours editing this. Like I said, that's the kit. It also comes with this tool here. You thread this helicoil on there, and here's the new coil. It's got a little cut right there at the end, because once you get it screwed in, they want you to break off that prong at the bottom. I don't know if I need to, but I don't even think I'll have enough space, to be honest, to break that off. But that's the part you use, and it connects on right there. And that's what grips it. So I'm gonna do this real quick. We're just gonna thread it down. Use my little T-handle I just got, and do that. If you don't have a T-handle and you have this kit, you can do what I did. This is a pretty big piece. I got my drill, 1/4 inch drill adapter to a socket adapter with this multi-size cool thing I got. Fits all kinds of things in it. But that thing fit great in there. No problem. I was able to go in and out, and she likes it. She really likes it. It's gonna be okay. Alright, so I just went to the store and picked this stuff up for high heat. It's the good stuff. I didn't want to use my old one. It's garbage. It's garbage. So, here goes nothing. Again. Threads are cleared. Gonna get this thread locker down in there, and hope everything works on this helicoil. Helicoil repair. So probably don't want to get this stuff on your skin. Anyway, I was actually on the website reading about this stuff, and they recommend that when you're doing a hole like this, Yeah, I'm gonna shake this really good first, actually. They recommend that you put it down in the female side of the threads first. So that's what I'm gonna do. Makes sense? Probably a lot there, but oh well. It's funny, this stuff was like $13 and I still had to, all I need was one drop. Things you do. Right around town, about 20 minutes just to find that. 2 different places. Picked it up at the local auto store place. Okay, I'm gonna put my tap on here. Snug it up. Oh well, I didn't know that comes out. Of course. Doesn't seem like that's a good thing to be falling out. It only goes on one way. So we take that helicoil, put it on here, and cross your fingers, everyone. Okay, it's going in. I don't know how straight it's going in. Hopefully it is straight. It's making a weird noise. Hope that's normal. It like slows down, catches up, makes a weird noise. Well, that's what it's doing. It's like getting stretched outwards and pulled down. Okay, it stops there. Back that out. See, now the threads are actually staying in there. Cool. Oops. Well, I think it's down all the way. And as far as it's gonna go, I'm gonna try a little more. Okay. Happy with that. I don't know if you can see any of that in the video. If not, I'll just probably delete this part. Cool. Well, now that that's in, I don't know if I should wait for that thread locker to lock up or just put it in, but I think I'm just gonna put the part in. Here's the bolt. I'm gonna do the same thing as I just did. Threads, the female threads. I'm not sure what the torque is supposed to be on this, but I'm just gonna hand tighten it. Man, I sure hope that's straight. Doesn't look straight anymore. I'm afraid to go too tight. It's not coming out. It's probably okay. And that's how you do helicoil. Alright, so I just cleaned off this side as well, and I got a real nice smooth finish. So that's good. Kind of was worried about that since, you know, this side got kind of grounded down with a wheel grinder. And this side I just took it off with carburetor cleaner and a razor blade. But it's very smooth. I think that's going to be smooth enough. Get a little bump there. This side's very flush. So, next step is, while I'm waiting for all these parts to show up, I'm going to mount it back onto the frame, because I'll be able to put these other parts on while it's on the frame and then be that much closer to going out to fly again. I cannot wait to fly. Alright everyone, so I got the gaskets finally, and I'm going to put this back together. Put my new piston rings in here. Pretty self-explanatory how to put those on, other than this one part I wanted to mention. The rings meet up around this part, around the piston, and there's a little notch in there where the gap is supposed to be. If you don't line up those gaps with those notches, you're not going to be able to put your piston into the head. So they're hard to see. This back one's kind of harder to see. Let's see if I can get a different angle on that. Where the heck is it? But that's it. I was just putting these on, and that was kicked off this way a little, to the left, and it wasn't going in. So I figured I'd show you guys and mention that. Put the rings on, take the old ones off with some needle nose pliers. Just kind of bend them out of the way carefully so you don't nick anything up, and then put these on. I'm going to put the one on here. It's probably going to go on the first screw, but then take it from the first screw, put it in the second one. Make sure you line that pin up. So if you're looking at the motor, they're on the right side, and that is so in here they are in between. Oh, why isn't my flashlight? There we go. Those screws are between those ports, here and there. So that's so you get a better compression or whatever is going on. And they don't grind. Voila! So, I also noticed when I was putting this on that due to that helicoil I had to put onto this back post, something went in bad angle that was really tight. This should slide right on, but I had to kind of push that this way some. But anyway, so this gasket will go on here like this. The little pokey out parts are on the left. Kind of matches up, it's kind of obvious, and then this is the right. Once I get that on, I will be on to the next part of this video. Also, put the same two-stroke oil that you use to run your engine on your piston rings, and inside here, above each one of those main bearings that are inside here, there's a little hole. Drop like 2 or 3 drops of little motor oil, some two-stroke in those holes, and I went and go ahead and did a little bit right there where those two meet, and I put a little bit inside right there just to help it out. It oils itself, but I wanted to give it a little bit extra, so it's a good idea to make sure your rings are oiled. Alright, so I got that seated down all the way now, and also wanted to mention that I'm putting another exhaust ring. I forget what it's called offhand. Yeah, it's the spacer that goes in here. I'll be putting one of those in there, but before I put this together, I cleaned up. This was very carboned up and but yeah, so there's a lot of carbon buildup in there, and inside that I kind of just cleared that out somewhat. And cleaned all these edges with some carb cleaner before I got it up here as well. So there's the old one. It's probably fine really, but I figured I'd replace it while I had this open. There's the new one. Looks the same. Next up is to put on this O-ring that goes on this part of the head. Right here. So, make sure there's nothing on it. Like this one's got something on there. Oh, there's my feet. Hello, feet. I already cleaned up this with some carb cleaner. So, that's good. And I remember doing this last time. This little O-ring kept falling off when I flipped this upside down. Let's see if it'll stay. Yeah, cool. It might stay while I'm putting it together. So, I marked this thing right, left. Not sure if that matters. Well, I guess it does. If you look at it, it's got a little bit more beef on the left side. Who knows if this is right or wrong anymore, but this is the next step. I'm just gonna line this up with these holes under here. And this hole here. It should slide right in pretty easily. Just going to make sure that that O-ring stays there. It looks fine. Man, all this hard work. The last few steps are pretty easy. Alright, new gasket here. New O-ring there. Time to add my washers here. Tighten down all these bolts that go to the head. I'm going to bring them up to a torque of, it's supposed to be 125 according to Blackhawk. I think I'm going to go up to, I'll do steps, so I'll do this one about 50, 50, 50, 50. I'll go up to 70 on all of them. And then I'm going to go up to 85 on all of them. And then keep stepping it up to 125 inch-pounds. So don't do foot-pounds, you'll just break everything. Okay, well, that's the next step. And then I'll be putting these bottom exhaust shock mounts back on. I bought a new shock mount, but accidentally got a motor mount. I'm gonna see if I can get that to fit down there. It's way bigger, but it might work. I don't know yet. We're gonna find out. I do know that these, it's right here. Look at the difference between them. This is the one that got worn out. I didn't even see if, I think those are still 8mm bolt. So that should work. I don't know. So 8mm on both sides. Let's see. Well, actually, bring it right over here. Let's see. It's kind of loose, so I don't think that's right. I'll have to get that right one. But the way it was, just this left side was attached, and this other one was just kind of sitting there. So I'll leave that like that for now. And now I'm going to tighten down the head bolts. Okay. Got it up to 125. Doesn't even feel like that much. Seems like it could take more, but there you go. Everything looks square. Good seals. I hope. Hope there's no air leaks. And I'm gonna keep on. So I got this other part that I need to put together. Oh, it's still really dirty. I'm gonna wipe this down. Probably take a razor blade to this, make sure it's real flat. Show you how I do that real quick. Just kind of scrape it. to do this with most O-ring type electrical connectors. Makes them shine, better connection. I already cleaned up the inside of the heads where this sits down in there underneath the spark plug. And copper cleans up pretty fast too. Not very dense metal. It's one of the various things I've learned throughout my days. So, definitely wasn't very flat before. I had an oil leak right there going on. So definitely want to make sure I'm flattening this out. I don't know how well you can see it in the video from over there, but it looks a lot better now. Get real close on that. Right. Let's take this off the stand. Damn, phone stand's overrated. Okay, where is it? There we go. You can see how it had like grime, and you can see that where it's shinier is where the razor hit, and like you can also see that like blackish line. It's probably where fuel, gas, oil mix, whatever was leaking up underneath it, because it wasn't solid. I didn't do anything at the top yet, but you can see where the spark plug sat on it, and that seal itself looked fine. So the oil leak was probably coming out underneath, right where you can see that black line. So I'm gonna keep scraping on that for a second and get that cleared up. Alright, I just took my metal file to it. It's good now. Should sit nice and flush. The top I'm not too worried about because it looks like it has a good seal. Right, so head bolts. Start with your washers. And just kind of thread all of them on. Hand tight. These kind of have two different sides to them. Like the sides like goes up a little. This side is just flat. I think I'm gonna go with the up a little side down. So this one's upside down. Don't remember which way that went, actually. Probably go back in the video, but not sure it matters. Find out later, won't I? So if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. I hope it's helping you out a bunch. And if you have any questions, please leave comments below. And then stay tuned for getting out for the test flights on this puppy. It's gonna be good. So what have I been doing all this for? Right now I'm set to, let's do, looks like 20 foot-pounds. Don't really need to set anything yet. Just gonna get these down. So you'll need a 14 millimeter deep well socket, by the way. Just hand tighten it. I'm not even tightening it, I'm just getting it to hit the bottom. And we'll go through and tighten everything very carefully. Make sure you crisscross everything. I'm gonna set this up here. This is my nice torque wrench. Got it at, what is it, Harbor Freight. This way. No, I don't know, too high. Okay, we're gonna start at 40. I almost want to start at less, actually. So we'll do 20. It's like not tight at all. I think the reason they want that people to do these so tight is because they leak a lot. But I also... Alright, so this goes down here. And actually, let me make sure it goes all the way up to the top of this first. Solid. That sits right there. And I guess I shouldn't have done that. I like to do torque of 100. No, maybe even more. A little extra. Let's see what that is. $30. Jeez. I got up to one over 160. 170. It's over 180 inch pounds. Here's 190. Okay, so this is tightened, hand tight, and I put that in there. That is the cable that runs the RPM meter. It just kind of goes down, tucked out of the way, and somehow doesn't melt, but whatever. Finally time to grab my shroud, put that back on there. If you've seen the last video, you know that well, earlier in this video, you know that I fixed this shroud up. I'm going to put these spacers down over these long bolts. And yep, that's pretty much that. Line this puppy up. That one's got this stuff. Okay. Just like that. In the back it's got this lip. You kind of want to make sure that you get it over that. Okay. That keeps it out of the way. This used to have tape on it too. I guess. I don't know. Keep it sealed. Not manufacturer done it all or nothing, but I hold it on. And oh wait, yeah. These go underneath the shroud as well. So over those spacers. Under the shroud. This over there. These right here. And then just hand tighten these down. These have nothing to do with sealing. Let's just hold the shroud down. I forget what that was. Looks like a 13 pin. No, it is 11. Cool. That's on. Getting close. Alright. Look at that. It's been a while since that was on there. You want to take this. This also has something to do with the hour meter or the tachometer. Wrap it around about 5 times. At least 4 or 5. Right up here. And then grab a zip tie and hold that all up. I had a smaller one. Where'd it go? I don't know where it went. Doesn't work. It's always a good idea. Double up the zip ties. Covers a little more area. And that's just great. Okay, well that kind of unwound. Remember to subscribe and give a like for the video. I really appreciate that. Even share it if you feel like going all out. I like to use a razor on zip ties because I don't want anything sticking up at all. So it's real flat. Okay, so that's on. I'll scoot it up. That's on. Another zip tie on there to kind of hold it down. Great. That's done. Almost. Just got a lot of more things to do. So, still got exhaust to put on and the carb to put on. I'm going to go ahead and start on this carburetor part. Well, first thing I'm going to do, get this tape out of here. I put in some paper towel to help keep bugs out. Grab a little bit of carburetor cleaner. And clean it off. Yours might have paint on it still. If it does, and it's still good, don't use carburetor cleaner on here. If you cleaned it off like I did, got the paint gone, carburetor cleaner is good for bare metal. Okay, so you don't have to clean it with carb cleaner, but I like to. Actually, before I do that, I think I'm gonna double check this. That's already done. I'm gonna put these motor mounts on and the exhaust just because I want to. So these bolts that go in there, what size was that? A little smaller than this one. They are, you can adjust them. Normally the Allen head screw is facing that way, like this. But I flipped these around the way that I did this to put it back together last time. I think it's a lot easier for me. Okay, so bring this camera down here some. Let's see what I'm up to down there. So this thing screws on this side, and everything back here is still loose. Because I didn't tighten up the bottom stuff yet, because I was waiting on this other shock mount to show up, but I got the wrong one. Let me grab the Allen wrench you need. Is that the one? This is the one. If you're wondering, that's a 4mm. Right there. So bring that out just a little bit. Just enough for that hole. this one a 17 millimeter. Grab that spacer that's right there. Tighten it this way because I want that to snug up and hold this bolt into the spacer behind it. Really good. Same thing over here. Need to bring that out just a little bit. Tighten that spacer behind it. That's the spacer I'm talking about. And tighten it towards this so this bolt gets tightened against that one. Or I mean this spacer gets tightened up that way. You don't have to go crazy. These are 8 millimeter bolts, so you don't need to go crazy on tightening that. But you also don't want your motor to fall off, so do it good. Do a good job. Okay. So with this thing, you're just gonna screw it on. Nice and snug. And grab some vice grips or channel locks. And I want to grab right up on the edge because there's like a really thin washer and these that are inside the rubber that you can get a grip on. No, it's not tight enough. So you don't really want to grip the rubber or it will just rip it apart. It's kind of hard to get it because it is so small. But totally worth it. Okay, so that's pretty good. Double check, triple check. We're gonna go up in the sky and rely on this to keep you alive. Might as well triple check everything you do. Great. So cool. Aren't you excited? I can really tell how excited everyone is. It's probably gonna be like an hour-long video. You must be geeked right now, falling asleep in your chair, wishing your motor wasn't broken, didn't have to do this. Me too. Guess what? You gotta do what you gotta do. Here's the next thing we're gonna do. I'm gonna put this muffler exhaust back on here. So start by taking off these two bolts that I put back there so I didn't lose them. And try not to lose them again. Gonna put that new exhaust spacer in there. Somebody tell me what that's called. I just keep forgetting. Nice and shiny new one. Look at that. It's shiny. Goes right up in here. I bet that's gonna be hard to... Maybe I'll put it into the other side first. Man, does this even fit? I don't know. At least I got my phone stand hands free. So, line this up down here. You can see that. I don't know. Got that on there. And put the nut on to kind of get that held on somewhat. This is where things are going to get tricky. Maybe not. Alright, well, let's in between it. Yeah, there's probably an easier way to do this, by the way. Whatever you think's easier. If you want to take those 3 screws out with the springs, you can. And probably just leave this attachment on here. A flange. But, if you want to do it this way, then do it this way. No one's stopping you. Because you're going to need one of these. Got this thing. Some kind of kit. But I just cut off the end of it so it fits in small places. And it works. I could probably hand tighten this a bit more. Leave a comment below if you think I should start a paramotor repair service. I just might do that. If you guys want to pay me good enough, I'll do it. Better be worth my time though. It's a pain in the butt. I'd rather be flying. Make me an offer if you need work done. Pay for shipping, get it to me. I'll give you a good deal. Maybe like $2,000 an hour, right? That's funny. Funny! Talking on my phone right now, recording me turning bulls. I sure hope this helps somebody, because really that's all I'm just making these videos for, guys. You know, what else am I going to do? Get rich on YouTube views? If that ever happens. Maybe if I fly to McDonald's, right? Right? If I fly to McDonald's, I might get more views. But I do have a McDonald's, it's not too far. I bet I could go fly to that. You think I think it's unclear. If you guys think I should fly to McDonald's, make a video like good old Tucker did, leave that in the comments too. I'll do it. Oh man, this thing's not working right now. Getting a bit worn out. Maybe I'll fly somewhere else too. I think I could get to a Taco Bell. I don't even eat McDonald's. But I bet I could get some Taco Bell. Get me a nice cheesy quesadilla. Cheesy quesadillas. That sounds good. I might have to go to McDonald's or Taco Bell tonight. Okay, well that's stripped, so anyway, this is boring watching me do that. Okay. Finally down to a few last things. So, got this gasket that goes on all your reed valves. Make sure it's all clear of any debris, and that you're putting this in the right way. I don't think it matters which side goes first, but whatever. Let's see. No, it all lines up. This is a balanced part. I'm going to make sure there's no dust left in here. Already checked out everything into there. So this part goes first. Looks like there's some old gasket on here still. Thought I got that. Alright, I'm going to wipe that off. Alright, so I have to get this gasket on this side. You're going to get this gasket. It goes on this side. What do you know? I don't think that matters either which way is up and down, because nothing really lines up with that. Okay, so right after that part, you got this part. So you can put it on either side, I guess, so it don't matter. These pieces all go together like so. And then you're going to take the bolts that connect this in here and slide them in. I'm actually going to be using a little bit of medium strength thread locker because I want these to stay tight. I cannot have, you only need like, I don't know, a half a drop per bolt. Kinda not even that much. Like that, just a dab. I'm gonna get that through. Might have been a good idea to put that on after I had it through the gaskets. But whatever. I'll do the top two first. Just to line everything up. Make sure it's nice and square. It's a 5mm Allen head bolt that you're going to be screwing it with. Once those are lined up, go ahead and push it on. This is the same Allen head size that you need for quite a few things on this motor. Like the propeller bolts, remember? That's why I marked it with reds. I can find it in my kit quickly. Okay, so those are almost all the way in. Make sure you get them all threaded in most of the way before you tighten anything down. I'm sure that there's a torque that you're supposed to be tightening this down to. I don't know what it is. So, I'm just going to do it by hand. Up to there. Get them all snug down pretty flush. So they're just hitting. Okay. And then I am going to get my torque driver out to make sure these are all even. And we'll just feel what feels right on those. So right here. Obviously I need an adapter of some sort to get these screwed down tight, even. What I like to do is I got this cool, what you've seen before, it's a multi-size adapter cool thing. Very handy. Or if you got like, you know, your 1/4 inch bit. I'm gonna start these around 60. No, we'll do 70. So yeah, if you got a 1/4 inch, that works good. This thing fits on there fine. So it's cool. Just, it's all about being even. Might even go less torque because it's just good to do that. We'll start at 50 inch-pounds. Not quite good. Okay, so yeah, I wound up taking that up to 84 inch-pounds each. So it's been like 10 minutes. I like to let my stuff sit, come back a little bit later before I'm done, and I'll tighten it up again just to make sure that everything's still snug. Gives the gasket a chance to kind of squish, and they are going up A little bit extra right now. So that's always a good idea. When you're putting gaskets in, double check. I did the same thing with the heads. Let that sit for a little bit. Kind of checked it after. Because after the carburetor's on here, I won't be able to get to these bolts very easily, especially with this torque wrench. So, now that I did that again, I'm going to go to 85 and just triple check. They probably won't change anything. 1 inch-pound more. But this is all about stopping those air leaks that I'm having. I was having. I don't want to find any more problems. Okay? So, I mean, some people would do an air check where they would set up a rig where you could put a little bit of pressure inside of the whole inner area that cover the exhaust and spray it for leaks all around where the head gasket meets, where the O-ring is. These ones, I'm not going to do that. I'm feeling very confident in what I've done here. I didn't have to do anything weird. Everything's just should work fine. If it doesn't, I'll see oil leaking out and my temperature will be too high. So I mean, that works fine too. Okay, it's finally time to get my carburetor back on. I did the carburetor rebuild a week ago, and that went fine. I'll have another video about that, and I'll just put the link right here. So click on that if you want to skip to the carburetor rebuild. But I'm not going to show that in this video. It's a separate thing. I pretty much just put new diaphragm gasket here, diaphragm gasket here, new screen, new needle valve, new yoke, and I set the yoke height with the carburetor metering tool. It's just called a metering tool. Pretty basic. Now I'm just gonna line up like where the old gasket was. It was here. And where's the other thing? I'm gonna be putting a little bit of medium strength Loctite on these as well. So what these do, if you weren't paying attention when you took this all apart, those, oh wait, was there a gasket there? I don't remember. No. This is not a gasket area. Right? Yeah. Right there. This goes here. This goes here. So there. Something on there. So that goes through there. And then it goes through your carburetor. Then there's gasket. Gasket goes like this. Kind of see the shape of the old one. Put that on like this. Like so. Gonna add that little bit of Loctite. I'm actually going to be putting it on the female threads. Just a little bit. Oh, too much came out right there. Okay, I don't want that on my gasket. Shit. Kind of wipes that off. Cool. These are easy to get to, so I mean, that's not a huge deal if it gets a little loose there, other than the overheating, which is the main thing we're avoiding here. No idea what the torque is supposed to be on this, so I'll be going up to about 80 again. Oh yeah, these are smaller. I don't know where to put that. Yeah, it's on my desk. Go grab that. That is 4mm Allen. Something's making it all snug. Here it goes. So yeah, these are a smaller bolt. I won't go up to 80. It'll be too high for these bolts. These look more like a 6 or 5. So we'll see what a 5 is supposed to be. I think maybe 60. Okay, so I found out it's gonna be 61. It's just not very tight. When you tighten stuff by hand really tight, you're going like 200 something pounds, inch pounds. Let's see. Okay, it's been a few minutes. Double check again. Let's see, that didn't change. Cool, you're fine. Make sure that you store your torque wrench on 0 inch pounds. It's important because you don't want this thing to get worn out and change its settings. I've heard that more than once now from many people, so we'll share the knowledge with you guys. Cool. Finally, almost back to flight mode. So, what's left is this gas line. Oh yeah, I got that pulled down really far down here. Something. What did I do with that? I think I need a new gas line soon. Actually, before the gas line, I'm gonna put this on there. That just connects from here to the back of your carb. And they say, well, I mean, they say it's to run your pump, carb pump. Every time that this pulls up, it pulls vacuum. That opens this up. And when it pushes the gas through. It's like magic. Check that out. So I've seen a lot of people have this tube going up underneath, but I always like to put mine above. Call me crazy. That's just how I like it. Let me get my hose clamp on here. Into the back side first. I don't like this part getting near my muffler or exhaust, whatever you want to refer it to. That's simply these bolts. Flathead screwdriver. Or, you know, whatever kind you got, you could use a quarter wrench on there. Make sure this is tight though. Otherwise it could be another air leak spot. Okay. And back there. I should put this on the other way. Actually, I'm gonna turn that so I don't have the extra piece of that hose clamp sticking out. What's going on here? Is that low power mode? Okay, so like I was saying, turn this hose clamp down here downward so that the extra little hose clamp flat part is not hitting my gas line. Alright, so I'll get that on there and show the next part. Yay! Gas line's hooked up. Diaphragm carburetor pump is hooked up. Torque down 61 inch-pounds. Torque to 84 inch-pounds. Dogs are freaking out. Alright, so the airbox on here. If you guys made it this far in this video, congratulations. This is it. You did it. You pulled it off. I hope you all have a great flight. Have an amazing time. Don't forget to tie down anything that's loose on here still. Double check everything that you have. Make sure it's tight. Like this thing. Don't let that fall off. And just remember to be safe. Everything's about being safe. You want to get up in the sky so if it falls off, hits your propeller. Alright, all that's left is put the propeller back on. I'm so happy, you guys. I can hardly believe this is really done. All that's really left also, I guess, is I gotta tie up these lines over here from my coil and zip tie them down. That's it. And I'm gonna go do some test runs, run this puppy up, see how the spark plug looks. Break in these piston rings. A little more gas in there. The next project on this is gonna be fuel tank upgrade. I'll get a bigger fuel tank or an additional fuel tank that it goes on here. And then that's it.